Why we are saying this? Why we are keeping this dot? And what is net? Net indicates. Any guess?
No. No.
Okay, sorry, no issues. See, we'll talk about later regarding dot. First of all, coming to net. Net is nothing but network enable technology. What is mean by network enable technology? What are the networks we have? We know we have three types of networks. First one is LAN, second one is WAN, third one is MAN. Right? So what is LAN? Local area network.
Local area.
Yes, good. Local area network. WAN is nothing but wide area network. And coming to MAN, metropolitan area network. Metropolitan area network. So we know what is the limitation of LAN. See, in our offices or in at your home, which network you will going to use? You connect through LAN, WAN. Yes, good, LAN. So LAN is limited to particular buildings or offices. That means it shares the information within the buildings and within the offices. Coming to WAN, wide area network, it shares the information globally through internet. So throughout worldwide, it will going to share the information. Coming to MAN, metropolitan area network, it shares the information within the city. So these are the networks we have in our real world. So what is mean by this network enabled technology? We know networks. What is mean by this network enabled technology? See, once you learn the .NET, you implemented the project. Suppose the project name is xyz.com. xyz.com. So whatever applications, whatever projects we're going to implement, that project should work on all of these networks. It should work on LAN, MAN and WAN networks. Then we can say it's a network enabled technology. So what are applications we will going to implement by using .NET? Those applications should support all these networks is known as network enabled technology. You implemented this project by using .NET. You can host this xyz.com site on LAN cables, WAN cables and MAN cables. See, tell me, suppose you hosted this XYZ application on LAN cables, what will going to happen? Okay, let me explain in this way. You implemented a project xyz.com. So where you will going to implement? In your laptop.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever your organization, whatever laptop is providing you, provided by your organization, on that laptop you're going to work on it. So you implemented the code for this xyz.com site in your local machine. So how can I access your project? I want to access it. How can I access? So once we implemented this project, yes, we're going to use database also. That is other part. But see, suppose let's just think about it. We have a site xyz.com. Just you have the knowledge on C language. So I'm showing main method. I want to printf welcome user. I want to print this message. Okay, this is there in your local machine. This code is there in your local machine. When I access xyz.com, see, you are the developer for this dev1 and I'm the end user. I want to access xyz.com. How can I use it? How can I access your local code on my machine? Is it possible if your code is existing on only on your local machine? Is it possible to access? No. The second person cannot access. So when he can access, to access this xyz.com, you need to install this code on the server. So through server only we can access this application. We need to host it. Did you heard the word host?
Yeah, host.
Yeah. So once we implemented the code, see, google.com is there. So who will going to implement? There are the Google developers. There are the team of five to six members. They will going to implement the code. Once they implemented the code in their local machines, they have to host that code on the servers. So once they host the server, they host the code on the server, then only if I send the request www.google.com, that request will going to hit the server and will get the response. Right? We'll get the response as a Google page. So that this is called as hosting. So when we implement a project by using .NET, we can host our application on any of the networks is known as network enabled technology. Suppose, let us assume xyz.com site I hosted on LAN cables. So if I hosted on LAN cables, who can access it? Everyone can access it? No, it's limited to your organization level or at your billing level. That means, suppose, let us assume this xyz.com site is the internal site where you are maintaining the timesheets of your employees. You got the requirement to create a web-based applications to fill the timesheets by all the employees belonging to your organization. So what you will going to do, you write the code and you give some name xyz.com or ABC timesheets. You created one site for your ABC organization and you need to host this application on LAN cables so that only your ABC organization employees can access this site. Suppose if you host this ABC timesheet application on WAN cables, what will going to happen? Everyone can access it.
Yes.
Everyone can access it. So I'm not a part of your organization. I'm not an employee of your organization ABC. Then also I can fill a timesheet if you host your application on WAN cables. So based on your requirement, based on your application requirement, you need to choose a proper environment to host, proper network to host. Is this clear? What is network enabled technology means? Any doubts? See, first time you're going with .NET, I went on very high level. But moving forward, it will become very easy when we start with ASP.NET. There, how we will going to host the application, how we can send the request to server, how we will get the response, in which format we're going to get the response. So all those things you can see there. Okay, but just to understand the network enabled technology terminology, I given these scenarios. Okay, next coming to dot. What is dot? Dot indicates IntelliSense. IntelliSense is nothing but, see, in C language, we know C is this case sensitive. You know, right? What is mean by case sensitive?
Yes.
Yeah, if it is capital, then we should maintain it as a capital letter only. We should not write P.
Yes.
Small p. Yeah. So in C, if I give small p, then immediately it throws the error, compile time error.
Yes.
But in .NET, like this is a printf is a predefined method in C language. So in the same way, in .NET we have n number of predefined classes, methods, keywords, properties. There are n number of things we're going to have. In C it's a very small language, so it's limited to few of the predefined methods. But in .NET there are lakhs of predefined classes and methods we're going to have. So it's tough to remember which class, which word do I need to give the capital or small letter, how can I maintain. So to avoid that confusion, .NET provided IntelliSense. See, just press P. All the matching words with P, it started showing in IntelliSense window. Your task is just you will going to choose it. You will not going to write it. If you write it also, if you write small letter, then immediately if you press Control space, it changed to capital P. So that is IntelliSense. You don't need to remember it. I'll show you what is IntelliSense window, how we can test it, how we can check it, how we can retrieve the values. All those things we're going to explain when we start with the practicals. In Java also this beauty is not there. In .NET only this feature is there. Okay, so dot indicates IntelliSense. You don't need to choose, you don't need to remember any predefined functions names or methods name. Suppose we have one class. In one class we can have n number of methods. You don't need to remember even how many methods the class can contain. Just write the class name, press the dot, it will start showing in IntelliSense window. You don't need to remember. This IntelliSense makes developer life easier. Okay, so moving forward, I'll show you everything. What is IntelliSense, how it will helpful in Visual Studio. I'll going to explain it. Is this clear? Any doubts in this?
No. Sure.
Okay. See, before moving with .NET, we will going to understand few points about .NET. In that first point is it .NET is platform independent technology or dependent technology? Independent or dependent technology? First of all, before moving whether the .NET is platform independent or dependent, first try to learn the terms. These terms are very new for us: platform dependency and platform independency. First of all, we're going to learn what is platform dependency. What is mean by it? Platform dependency? Any guess? In Java? In C also we have it. Yeah, Java is platform independent and C is platform dependent. But what is this term? What is mean by this platform dependency? What is the definition of this platform dependency? When we can say this language is platform dependent?
I mean open source and closed source, like that.
No. Open source is it's totally different. Open sourcing is nothing but something we are getting free. Suppose this notepad is there. To install this notepad, do we need to pay any license? Do we need to buy? Yes, we need to buy MS Office, right? No.
Oh, okay.
When we bought the laptops, they will going to install all this by default. But if you want to install our own, we need to buy the license.
Yes.
Right? There is a license key we need to provide while installation. Yeah. So this is not open source. Open source is nothing but something you can install without buying. So I can give you one example. You worked on Java, but Java is also not open source. Oracle, no. .NET, no. ఇది ఓపెన్ సోర్స్ ఉంది. This C is also no. This AWS Cloud Azure having. Yeah, AngularJS is a open source. Yes, AngularJS is a open source. AngularJS, have you heard about it?
Yes.
Yeah. jQuery is open source. JavaScript is open source. We can use it wherever we require. HTML is open source.
HTML. Yes.
Yes. But coming to .NET and C, these are not open source language. We have to buy the license for this. So Visual Studio price is enterprise edition around 80K. So to buy this. Okay. So anyway, platform dependency is nothing but if application works on specific operating systems and specific CPU configurations is known as platform dependency. That means, see, suppose let us assume X is a software. We want to install this X software into your machine. But this X software impose the restrictions to install this X software. To install this X software, we need to have, let us assume 2 GB RAM and Windows operating system. If your personal PC has the configuration 2 GB RAM and Windows operating system, then only you can install this X software. Or else you won't install. But let us assume your personal PC configuration is 1 GB RAM and Windows operating system. So in this scenario, can you install this X software into your personal machine? This is your personal PC configuration and this X software requirements, the prerequisites. So can we install X software into your personal machine?
No.
See, to install this X software, we require minimum 2 GB RAM. Then only we can install X software. But we don't have 2 GB RAM. We have only 1 GB RAM. So we cannot install X software into our personal PC because our RAM configuration is very less. Right? So that is the reason we can say X software is a platform dependent software because it works on specific operating systems and specific CPU configurations only it will going to work. Clear? Not clear?
Yeah, clear.
Yeah. Next I'm moving with the platform independency. Platform independency is nothing but the application can work on any CPU configurations and any operating systems. See, suppose this Y software you want to install it. Let us assume Y is a software. You want to install Y software. But irrespective of your CPU configurations, your personal PC configuration, you can install Y software because Y software doesn't impose any restrictions. If you have 1 GB RAM, you can install Y software. If you have 8 GB RAM, then also you can install Y software into your machine. So Y software, we can say it is a platform independent software. Is this clear?
Yes.
Yeah. And now the terms are familiar now, platform dependency and platform independency.
Yes.
Yeah. Coming to our question is, .NET is platform independent technology or it's a dependent technology? What is the answer? The answer is .NET is partially platform independent technology. Why we are saying why we use partially keyword? Because we can work with .NET on any operating systems like Linux, Unix, Solaris, Windows, except Mac. Except Macintosh operating system, we can work with .NET on any operating systems and on with any CPU configurations. But it doesn't support Macintosh operating system. So that is the reason we call .NET is a partially platform independent technology. Is this clear?
Yes.
But remember one thing, .NET is Microsoft technology. So Microsoft released .NET only for Windows. Only for Windows. Officially, Microsoft support only Windows. Microsoft doesn't support Linux, Unix, Solaris, etc. Other software, other operating systems, it will not going to support. But how we are saying .NET is partially platform independent? Because there is a third party framework called as Mono framework. Mono framework. It's a third party framework. It supports Linux, Unix, Solaris, other operating systems except Mac. Getting? See, if you have Windows operating system, directly download Microsoft.NET and you can install it. But if you have any other operating systems other than Windows and Mac, then what you need to do? You need to install first Mono framework. Mono framework is a third party framework. We need to install it from Google. On top of Mono framework, that means once the Mono framework install, then only we can install .NET framework. So if we have Windows operating system, directly we can install .NET. If we have other operating systems like Linux and Unix, then we need to first install Mono framework by downloading in Google, and with the help of Google, and on top of Mono framework you can download Microsoft framework and you can install it. Any doubts in this?
No.
Clear, right?
Clear.
You want me to repeat? Are you with me?
No. Yeah. I'm
Okay. Okay, good. So we're done with platform dependency or independency concept. And next we'll move with, okay, we are good to go with this .NET. But once we learn this .NET, what kind of applications I can implement? What type of projects I can implement? See, there are two types of applications you can implement. Sorry, there are four types of application you can implement by using .NET. First one is console applications. Second one is Windows applications. Third one is web applications. And fourth one is mobile applications. What is console application? Any idea? How we executed our C programs?
On console, yes. C.
Yes.
Yeah.
So any application that runs through the command prompt or DOS prompt is known as console application. We can give C language programs are the best example for console UI. Console is also a user interface, right? So like web application, web is a user interface. In the same way, console is also a user interface for console applications. And coming to Windows application, what is Windows application? When application requires an installation is known as Windows application. Suppose Notepad is there. Does it require the installation or can I access through the browser?
No, it's an installation.
It requires the installation. Because Notepad will going to provide .exe file, I need to click on .exe file to use this Notepad, right? Clear?
It's clear. Yes.
Yeah, sorry to keep you hold. So this is Windows application. Any doubts in Windows application? I'm sorry, I took 1 minute break. Any doubts in Windows application? So
No.
any application that requires the installation is known as Windows application. So Notepad is there, it requires the installation. See, now we are communicating through GoToMeeting, and GoToMeeting is also a Windows application. It requires the installation. Take the Skype. Skype is also a Windows app. It requires the installation. And take MS Office, this document file, this Word document, this MS Office we need to install, then only we can use a Word document. So Windows apps are nothing but it will going to provide .exe file. So with the help of .exe file we need to install it. And moreover, Notepad is implemented by Microsoft. It implemented in .NET. Okay. So I hope you're good with Windows application. I'm moving with web application. Web application. What is web application? Any application that runs through the browsers. That runs with the help of browsers. Web application. That means see, Google site is there. How we will going to access a Google site?
By Chrome browser.
Sorry?
By Chrome browser.
Yes. By opening the browser. That means Google is providing some domain name like google.com. I need to type the domain name in the browsers, right? So with the help of browsers, we are accessing the Google site. So web application is nothing but any application that access through the browser. We can give any number of examples nowadays. 99% of the applications are web applications like Google, Flipkart, Amazon, Facebook, Gmail. So all these applications falls under web application. Clear? Yeah. Next, we know mobile application. Any application that runs in the mobile is known as mobile application. But for that course, but to implement the mobile application, this course will not be enough. We need to go with Android or Apple course. Along with Android or Apple, we need to learn Ionic framework. Ionic framework. Any doubts? The applications what we're going to implement is clear?
Yes.
Okay. And next last point is, okay, we good with the .NET and we good with the projects which we are implementing. But what is the prerequisite is? That means what is the IDE to develop the .NET? What does I mean by IDE? Have you heard about it? IDE is nothing but integrated development environment. So the IDE for .NET is Visual Studio and backend is SQL Server. Visual Studio has a lot of number of versions like 2000, 2002, 2003, 2005, 2008, 2010, 2012, 2013, 2015. These are the latest versions of the .NET. And coming to SQL Server, we have n number of versions like 2000, 2005, 2008, 2008 R2, 2012 and 2014 are the now in market it is running. So these are the softwares we require to work with .NET. Once you install Visual Studio and SQL Server, you can start implementing all this kind of applications, and you can host it. You can see everything once we start with the programs. So, any doubts in this session? I'm done with demo.
Okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Any questions you want me to ask? It's clear, right?
I mean, do you teach me from the basics, like that?
Yeah, very basics, from basics to advanced.
Okay.
Everything, loops, if conditions, switch cases, for loop, while loop. So these are the basic things which we already learned in C language. But still we'll go with
I
all
want. I
those
want. I
things.
want. I want like real time also. That's what
Yeah,
is.
actually I have the real time experience. I'm working in one of earlier I used to work with TCS. Now I moved to United Health Group. So it's a big product based company. So I cannot share you the projects, but I can show you how I implemented the project. What is the scenario? Suppose today I started explaining inheritance. You may heard in Java, right? Inheritance and
Yeah. Infinity. Yes.
encapsulation, polymorphism. So I explain inheritance, then immediately I can show you in my project, in real time project, where I used it, in which scenario I used it. So everything I'll going to show you, but I cannot share my code, but I can show you.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so that will not be an issue. Everything I'll explain with real time examples, because I'm my full time job is not a tutor. My job is a developer. Okay, that will not be you don't need to keep that question in your mind.
That's good.
So anything you want me to ask?
Yeah.
Okay, your name is Said or Said?
Sahit.
Sahit, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, here is some mistake maybe. Said.
Sahit. That's it.
Said, okay. Okay, got it. Okay, thank you, Said. Anything you want me to ask other than this? Are you good with the demo?
Good with the demo.
Okay, Said, I'm winding up this session. Just drop your feedback to SBR trainings. We'll meet you soon. Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Said. Bye.